Derby County fans may finally get their wish of investment after rumours have been circulating across the course of the last few days that an investment deal is set to be completed at the start of July. Now, we do not have any true confirmation from any sources in regards to solely Derby County or solely on the American side of this deal. We don't have anything from local media, but there is a lot of news circulating about a potential American man by the name of Arthur Blank. Now, Arthur Blank is 82 years old, has a net worth of £8.9 billion and currently owns a football club over in the MLS. Now, obviously we know Derby County are circulating for investment and for some takeover money across the course of the last 12 months really with David Clowes, and we know that those deals have begun to sort of get more and more intense over the course of the last few weeks with Derby County staying in the Championship. But now we sort of have a name to put to these investment links and what could potentially happen. Now, obviously, I do want to preface, this is purely just rumours. I'm not reporting, I'm not trying to be the first take, I'm just giving my opinion. Now, shall we get into it? Do you want to win yourself the brand new Derby County 2025-26 home shirt? Well, I'm here to give you an opportunity to do that. There will be a link down in the description where you can head on over to raffle.com to join a raffle where you can win the Derby County home shirt. Ticket prices start at just £1 with a range of different discounts available. You can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets, get 10 free, and 15 tickets to get 15 free. The intention with this is to give you guys the opportunity to win a Derby County shirt for less than the valued cost in the shop. So if you haven't done so already, head on down to the description, click on the link in the description which will take you over to raffle.com, create yourself an account, answer the question and join this raffle. The winner will be announced on August 1st at 6 p.m. as the transfer window begins to draw to a close. So if you haven't done so already, head on over there and get your tickets. Now, obviously, when we talk about Arthur Blank, he's 82 years of age, born on the 27th of September 1942, and according to Forbes is valued at $8.9 billion US. Now, he is the owner and co-founder of American home improvement retailer by the name of Home Depot. A lot of you may know it if you've been to America. Even if you haven't been to America, a lot of people will know what Home Depot is. And he is a man who has a lot of money. $8.9 billion US is not pocket change, and it's really, really interesting to see that he already has his hands in a football club. He's got his hands in Atlanta, I think, is it Atalanta United over in America since 2014. Obviously, they currently play in the MLS at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium that is a 73,000-seater stadium, average age of 26.6 for their squad. And I think this is obviously a good move for Derby County. I think when you look at sort of people that have owned Derby County in the past, you look at obviously David Clowes, not sort of known for being involved in football ownership. You look at Mel Morris, not known for being in football ownership. And I certainly believe that Arthur Blank, yes, he's 82 years old, but he's in that sort of capacity of he understands what a football club is and where it sort of needs to go. Now, he does have quite a few children, so in the event of the worst case happening, obviously with him being towards the sort of back end of his life, I know that's sort of a bit disheartening to say, but unfortunately that is the true fact of life. It would probably potentially be passed on to a child or anything like that. Now, we don't want to think about that, we don't want to worry about any sort of negatives, but I think this could be a massive move for Derby County. You obviously look at David Clowes' net wealth in comparison, and it is on a completely different sort of stratosphere, really. What is David Clowes actually valued at? I'm not entirely sure. I think if I remember when he sort of picked up Derby County, he was valued at around £350 million. So you're looking at nearly, 10 times and the rest higher than David Clowes if Arthur Blank was to take over at Derby County. And I know that a lot of people are going to look at it and go, do we want an American owner? We've had American owners before in the past and it didn't particularly go well. We've had this owner in the past, it didn't go well. We've had that owner in the past, it didn't go well. And don't get me wrong, I do completely agree. But I think that what we need as Derby County right now is money to spend. And now with Arthur Blank being already current owner of a team called Atalanta United, sort of being 82 years of age, it probably sort of works with sort of David Clowes wanting to hold that 20%, wanting to hold that sort of chairman status. It means that Arthur Blank doesn't necessarily have to be sort of the forward facing figure. It can be David Clowes, it can be Stephen Pearce. You can have sort of Clowes and Pearce running the day to day. I know a lot of people won't be necessarily impressed with Pearce obviously running the day to day, but it's one of those circumstances where I do believe that there is a way that this works perfectly with what David Clowes wants. Now, it could just be purely an investment deal. Now, I don't believe that to be the case. I think if it is going to be something, especially with someone who already owns a football club, they're going to want a stake, they're going to want a percentage, so that they sort of reap the benefit should Derby County get promoted next season. And that's obviously sort of a good conversation to have. I'm not saying Derby will get promoted next season, but with the right funding, the right players and things like that, I already think we've got a manager who is ready to get a club promoted from this division. I just think the problem that we've faced so far is not having that sort of cash injection under David Clowes to be able to go and sort of push on to the next level. You look at some of the players that we've been linked with, the likes of Louis Barry. That isn't going to be a cheap deal to get done, loan or permanent. You look at Cody Drammer, there's going to be a loan fee involved in that. And you even look at a player like Oscar Frullo, who Derby County have been linked with for £3.5 million back in the January transfer window. That it's been a reoccurrence this summer as well, and it's still going to be sort of a couple of £1 million to get that deal done. So I do think that with the right sort of owner, I do think that Derby County can push on to be the sort of I think they can be a great fit in the Championship and can certainly push those sort of top end of the top half, maybe playoff positions, things like that. But obviously that all has to come with the right funding, the right backing and the right people in charge of the right areas. And obviously at the moment it's really difficult to sort of judge if we have that, because I don't necessarily believe we have the funds to sort of go, oh, well, if we spend £5 million, that's going to be a hit, essentially, sort of thing. Now, yes, we did that with Sandro Langas, was a great signing for Derby, but it's one of those where it's sort of really difficult to sort of judge, sort of, especially some of the recruitment staff behind the scenes, on how good they've actually been, when a lot of the signings maybe weren't purely down to them. A lot of the signings maybe weren't sort of obscure sort of thing. You look at the likes of Ben Osborne, you look at Caden Jackson, players like that, ultimately not necessarily having the greatest of seasons last year, and that is where a man called Arthur Blank could step in and be Derby County's saviour for the next few years or whatever it is while he takes over, until maybe someone else does or anything like that. We obviously don't know sort of circumstances, plans or anything like that, but it is at the moment purely just rumours. I'm not going to turn around and say that it's factual information. I'm not trying to be the first to report on it or anything like that. I just want to sort of let you know what we're seeing and hearing. Obviously there's a lot of talk going on social media at the moment. There is an account called DCFC Forum Updates. It follows me on Twitter, so I've seen a few of their tweets, and that is sort of where the name has come from, which I'm judging then means it's been put on the forum. And obviously there's a few transfer stuff on there as well from the forum, and from a couple of podcasts recently as well, which is actually quite interesting. But it's one of those for me where I think I'm not taking it at face value. I'm taking it all with a pinch of salt, because we've not had any sort of confirmation from the club. We've not had any confirmation from local media like Radio Derby or even like the Derby Telegraph or anything like that. So at the moment I'm not sort of thinking that this is sort of accurate or identical. I just think it was something that we really needed to sort of, I thought it was something that needed discussing, because as Derby County fans and things like that, I just try and give the best possible content and the best updates that I can give based on the information that we have public. Like, I'm not a journalist. A lot of people have this habit at the moment of trying to act as if I'm a journalist in my comment sections and over on Twitter and things like that, but ultimately I'm not. I'm purely just giving my opinion based on what other people are saying, and I just like to talk about Derby County, and that is the long and short of it, really. I like to talk about Derby, I like to talk about F1, and obviously, as I've mentioned previously across the course of this channel, I want to bring in like live streams and stuff, playing games and shit, because why not? And it's sort of one of those things where I don't like being put in a box. I don't like people trying to sort of tell me this is what you are, that's what you are, and because ultimately I know what I'm trying to do, I know what I'm doing with my content and things like that, and ultimately they don't. So it will be very interesting to see where this one does develop. Obviously Derby County have got sort of a massive opportunity this summer with a manager in John Eustace to put together a great squad, and with the right funding, the right backing, absolutely, Derby can do that. Now, you can obviously let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you have not done so already, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Obviously, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell. Any further updates I will bring you. I've got some transfer updates on the likes of Liam Thompson and Josh Vickers coming out. Again, rumours, not 100% confirmed, just like a lot of the stuff I'm talking about. And then there's some other conversations going on with the likes of Harrison Armstrong, Liam Delap, and Derby County potentially getting a sell-on fee, but I'm going to go over that in another video. Now, if you have not done so already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and don't forget, join the Derby County raffle. Do you want to win yourself the brand new Derby County 2025-26 home shirt? Well, I'm here to give you an opportunity to do that. There will be a link down in the description where you can head on over to raffle.com to join a raffle where you can win the Derby County home shirt. Ticket prices start at just £1 with a range of different discounts available. You can buy 2 tickets, get 2 free, 5 tickets, get 5 free, 10 tickets, get 10 free, and 15 tickets to get 15 free. The intention with this is to give you guys the opportunity to win a Derby County shirt for less than the valued cost in the shop. So if you haven't done so already, head on down to the description, click on the link in the description, which will take you over to raffle.com, create yourself an account, answer the question, and join this raffle. The winner will be announced on August 1st at 6 p.m. as the transfer window begins to draw to a close. So if you haven't done so already, head on over there and get your tickets.